Jay Nichols here with 360sportsmag.com. And today is part 2 of our 3-part series in which we'll be discussing the 2012 HBCU football conferences. And guess what? We're headed Southwest Athletic Conference, that is, better known as the SWAC. And there's a couple of things that we want to take a look at as far as game changers that's going to shape the conference and determine the conference champ. Number 1, Doug Williams and the Grambling State Tigers. Last year was a remarkable year for those guys. They won the conference championship game 16-15 against a stingy Alabama A&M team. But the question remains, can they repeat? Number 2, Isaiah Crowell. And I'm sure you heard of the guy. The young man from UGA. He had a few off-field issues, but he transferred to Alabama State. Could the change of scenery be what the young man needs to have a breakout season? And lastly, the MEAC-SWAC Challenge, sponsored by Disney as well. But last year, Bethune-Cookman, they wiped the floor with Prairie View A&M. But Alabama State, they stepped into the forefront. They look to regain a little bit of self-confidence for their conference and put up a good game, hopefully take the game with a W. Now, as always, we want to take a look at those impact players that shape the games every Saturday and sometimes Thursday nights. First up, quarterback Dante Mason of Alabama A&M. He had a strong season last year, throwing for 11 touchdowns. He rushed for 3 as well. Running back Dorrance Roberts from Grambling State. He had his way last season, rushed for over 1,100 yards. Defensive lineman Joseph LeBeau of Jackson State. This young man is a stud, a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. He also was named to the Buck Buchanan watch list, so you definitely want to take a look out for this guy. Defensive back Keywan Riley of Alabama State. Also is a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year, and last season the young man took 9 INTs away from the other team. And lastly, linebacker Raheem Cardwell from Prairie View A&M. He got injured early in last season, but we feel this guy is a sleeper pick to be a breakout player this season. So now we've already discussed the impact players, the game changers, and now the big games. 360sportsmag.com has 4 games in particular that we feel will pretty much weed out the cream of the crop. September the 15th, Grambling State versus Alabama State. September the 29th, Alabama A&M versus Grambling State, which is a rubber match from last year's conference championship game. October the 13th, Alabama State versus Jackson State. And lastly, November the 3rd, Grambling State versus Jackson State. Now here at 360sportsmag.com, we like Grambling State. We really do. We like the Tigers. But ultimately, we feel those guys in Montgomery, those Hornets, they'll be stinging those Tigers and taking home the 2012 SWAC Conference Championship. Yes, the 2012 SWAC Conference Champs will be the Alabama State Hornets. As always, I'm Jay Nichols, signing off for 360sportsmag.com. Peace.